The Battle of Rozgony or Battle of Roranovska was fought between King Charles I of Hungary and the family of Palatine Amadei Aber on 15 June 1312, on the Rozgony field. Chronicle Pictum described it as the most cruel battle since the Mongol invasion of Europe. Despite many casualties on the king's side, his decisive victory brought an end to the Aber family's rule over Eastern Kingdom of Hungary, weakened his major domestic opponent Máté Csak III, and ultimately secured power for Charles I of Hungary. Background: after the senior line of the Arpad dynasty died out in 1301, the succession to the throne of the Kingdom of Hungary became contested by several foreign monarchs and other runner-ups. One of them was Charles Robert of Anjou, the Pope's champion. Over several years Charles drove his foreign opponents out of the country and installed himself on the Hungarian throne. At that time Hungary was a confederation of small kingdoms, principalities and dukedoms. However, his rule remained nominal in many parts of the kingdom because several powerful magnates, local kings, dukes and princes still did not recognize him as the supreme king. Initially, Charles's chief adversary was Máté Csak, who controlled several counties in western and northern parts of the Hungary. However, eventually he allied himself with the Aber family, which ruled the eastern Hungarian kingdom. In 1312, Charles besieged Sayros Castle, controlled by the Abash. After the Abash received additional reinforcement from Máté Csak, Charles Robert of Anjou was forced to retreat to the loyal Sips county, whose Saxon inhabitants subsequently reinforced his own troops. The Abbas benefited from his retreat. They decided to use the gathered opposition forces to attack the town of Kassa because of its strategic importance, and partially due to the fact that just few months before Charles had Amadeus Aber assassinated by the Kassa's German colonists. Charles marched on Kassa and engaged his adversaries. The battle. The opposition forces abandoned the siege of Kassa and positioned their troops on a hill near the Tarka. Charles I of Hungary was forced to position his troops in flat agricultural land under that hill. Although the numbers are uncertain, the king's army consisted of his own men, an Italian unit of Knights Hospitaller, and a 1,000 men strong infantry unit of Zipser Saxons. Because of contradicting versions in contemporary chronicles, it is not clear to what extent the Aber family was helped by Máté Csak's forces. The battle commenced when the rebels made a surprise attack during or just after the mass in the king's camp. A bloody melee followed, causing heavy casualties among knights on both sides. At one point, even the king's battle standard was lost and Charles himself had to fight under the standard of the Knights Hospitaller. In the crucial moment of the battle, a reinforcement from Kassa came and saved the king's cause. The rebel army, after it lost its commanders in the battle, was routed. Aftermath. Some of the key leaders of the Aber perished in the battle and part of their domain was divided between the king and his loyal followers. The loss of the key ally was also an important blow to Máté Csak. Although he managed to control much of his territories until his death in 1321, his power started to decline just after the battle and he could never again launch any major offensive against the king. The immediate consequence was that Charles I of Hungary gained control over the northeastern part of the country. But the long-term consequences of the victory were even more important. The battle drastically reduced magnates' opposition against him. The king extended his power base and prestige. The position of Charles as King of Hungary was now secured militarily and resistance against his rule came to its end. However, the Angevin rule over Hungary lasted only 74 years and the Abash continued to play an important role in Hungary even during the Angevin administration.